Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is another storytelling episode, obviously, and we are going to talk about a thriller story. So we'll do that while getting ready. So let me give you a little bit gist of the story, okay? So today's story is about Nancy, a woman who's married to the most amazing guy in the world. She had the perfect marriage, the perfect life, and everything in her life was basically perfect. But there is one thing about her that she does which practically ruined her perfect life. What is that? Without wasting time, let's get into it. Today's story is about Nancy, जो married है and उसे thriller stories और thriller movies और thriller stories सुनना, read करना ये सब कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद था. And just like a lot of us here, she would dream about these. Like नहीं होता ऐसे कि आप कुछ पढ़ते हो या फिर आप कुछ सुनते हो and then you know dream about it, right? So she was one of those. And that was not all, okay? She would not just dream about them, but she would wake up in the middle of the night all scared, all sweaty, and बहुत weird सी feeling हो जाती थी उसकी. But her husband used to always be there around her to, comfort her and give her that satisfaction. Ki, chill, chill. It's just a dream. I'm here for you. But somehow she had the idea that these stories are somewhat getting to me. They're not just, me having a good time reading them or listening to them. It's actually bothering me. And this is a problem. She was sort of addicted to these stories. And let me tell you, it is not just any kind of storytelling or thriller story or whatever, but she was addicted to these specific kind of stories that is the type where women would get tortured. ठीक है. Now you have to know this about her life कि उसकी तो perfect marriage है. उसका husband उसके लिए कुछ भी कर देगा. She had a perfect life, perfect husband. Her husband was the sweetest of the lot. Like कोई भी friends आता है तो सब यही बोलते हैं कि यार तेरी life कितनी perfect है, तेरा husband कितना perfect है, वो सब कुछ तेरे लिए करता है. So she had that kind of a marriage. So why would she read such kind of stories? And वो ना ऐसी थी जो she would search for these stories कि जहाँ पे women, particularly women are getting tortured, कि ढूंढ के निकाले ये stories कि हाँ इसमें women torture हो रही तो मुझे ये पसंद है. It's gotten to a point where she's kind of addicted to them. कि हर एक story, हर एक movie या हर एक चीज जो वो पढ़ रही है या सुन रही है, audio books, she's only finding out stories that are related to women being tortured. And it's not just about, getting addicted to a story or a video or something. It's gotten into her life. That is, she started feeling that her husband was torturing her. Her husband was a picture perfect guy. We've already discovered that. But she started acting out कि वो रोना शुरू कर देती थी, चिल्लाना शुरू कर देती थी, वैसे करती थी, मत मारो मुझे, मत करो मुझे, मतलब pretending like it was happening to her. एंड हर हस्बैंड वुड क्राई कि क्यों तुम ये सब कर रही हो, क्यों ऐसे रिएक्ट कर रही हो, और उसको कुछ समझ नहीं आता है. बट जब वो नॉर्मल होती है, उसका मतलब हस्बैंड आके उसको पकड़ता है, उसको हक करता है, बोलता है कि काम डाउन, तो वो काम डाउन होती है. और ये सब उसे तब पता चलता है जब वो थोड़ी नॉर्मल हो जाती है और उसका हस्बैंड उसको आके बताता है कि तुमने ऐसे 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 किया. तो ये सब देख के तो हस्बैंड को तो पता ही था दैट शी नीडेड हेल्प, राइट? बट नाउ उसके हस्बैंड को सुनने के बाद उसे खुद भी रियलाइज हो रहा है कि यार मेरे हस्बैंड को मैं इतना टॉर्चर कर रही हूँ, मैं अपने हस्बैंड को इतना टॉर्चर कर रही हूँ, तो यार आई शुड गेट हेल्प, राइट? सो नाउ दे डिसाइड कि हम लोग जाएंगे किसी थेरेपिस्ट के पास, उनको देखेंगे कि थेरेपिस्ट क्या बोलती है, राइट? तो वो लोग जाते हैं थेरेपिस्ट के पास, तो थेरेपिस्ट बोलती है कि क्यों ये सब हो रहा है, क्यों एपिसोड्स हो रहे हैं. तो द हस्बैंड इज ऑल्सो देयर. सो शी सेज कि मुझे नहीं पता कि मैं कैसे रिएक्ट करती हूँ, बिकॉज आई डोंट नो कि मेरे साथ क्या होता है. जैसे मैं सपना देखती हूँ, मैं उठती हूँ, वो मुझे पता है, बट मेरे साथ ये एपिसोड्स होते हैं, मुझे समझ नहीं आता. तो द थेरेपिस्ट वाज लाइक, oh that's strange, maybe you are living in a parallel universe, or maybe it's gotten into your head so much that you've started to imagine certain things. होता है, right? You start to imagine. So the lady was like, maybe. The therapist asked the husband कि can you narrate me कि वो क्या क्या करती है. So the husband says कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे मत मारो मुझे, ये मत करो, वो मत करो. She acts like she's tortured, she's in pain and all of that, right? So the therapist was like, okay, first things first, she needs to stop reading these stories. The husband was like, I completely agree to that. So the therapist was like, अभी आप घर जाइए, आप ना कोई ऐसी किताबें पढ़ेंगी, ना आप ऐसी कोई चीज़ें देखेंगी. So the husband was instructed कि आप सब चीज़ें हटा देना वहाँ से और उनको पढ़ने मत देना ये सब चीज़ें. She might want to, but please don't, right? So the husband was like, okay, I will not let her read anything like that. And ये सब बातें होने के बाद they went back home. So the lady went home and she was so exhausted with all of this information that she just went back to sleep. But the husband came back home and his job firstly was to take away all her books, take away all her phone, टेक अवे हर आईपैड्स, टेक अवे एवरीथिंग. मतलब जो भी सोर्स हो सकता है उसका ये सब पढ़ने का या जानने का, ही टुक अवे एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम हर. ओके, यू नो, शी स्लेप्ट ऑल नाइट बिकॉज शी वाज सो एग्जॉस्टेड कि उसको समझ नहीं आ रहा था. शी डिड नॉट वेक अप, शी जस्ट स्लेप्ट. और वो अगली सुबह उठी नेक्स्ट डे. ठीक है, अगली सुबह शी डिड नॉट रीड एनीथिंग एज सच क्योंकि सब कुछ छुपा दिया गया था. तो शी डिड नॉट हैव एनी वियर्ड एपिसोड्स. ओके, उसको ऐसा कोई क्राई आउट लाउड वाला इंसिडेंट उसके साथ नहीं हुआ. शी वॉज फीलिंग बेटर, ऑल्दो उसका अर्ज हो रहा था कि यार मुझे पढ़ने का तो मन कर रहा है. शी वॉज शेयरिंग दिस टू हर हस्बैंड, यार मुझे पढ़ने का मन कर रहा है वो बुक, क्योंकि मुझे पता नहीं क्यों एक सेंस ऑफ रिलीफ मिलता है कि पता नहीं, मुझे ऐसी फीलिंग आती है कि आई एम नॉट द ओनली वन हु इज गोइंग थ्रू दिस. तो हर हस्बैंड वाज लाइक, बट यू आर नॉट गोइंग थ्रू एनीथिंग. एंड शी वाज लाइक, आई नो आई एम नॉट गोइंग थ्रू एनीथिंग, यू आर द perfect husband and everything, but I still have a feeling that I can relate to these girls and they are just like me. So the husband was like, but your therapist told you you can't be reading all this. So I have hidden everything. And she was like, yeah, yeah, please don't give it to me. I don't want to have those episodes. I don't want to torture you. Oh, ये सब बातें हुई. तो वो दिन पूरा अच्छे से निकला. She didn't have any episode. She was not, bothered by all of this. And आराम से पूरा दिन निकलता है. वो जाती है सोने. And आज रात उसे सपना आता है. The same woman kind of a situation who's getting tortured. But this time, the woman who was being tortured in her dreams was a woman who was familiar. So let me give you some context. Whenever she used to dream about these women, the women used to be different, and the man torturing the woman used to be different. It was all her imagination, right? तो वो different होता. But आज की जो particular औरत है, she felt like, I know this woman. I've seen this girl somewhere. Maybe it could be a one from her stories. It could be somebody she has met in real life. Could be anything, right? Now she sees that the woman is being tortured by a man. So now she's all scared in her dream and then suddenly wakes up from the dream. But today, something was different. She woke up and she realized that the woman in her dreams is sitting on top of her. And she feels so helpless that Nancy feels so helpless that she is unable to yell. मतलब उसकी आवाज नहीं निकल रही है. उसको अजीब लग रहा है कि मेरे ऊपर वो लड़की बैठी हुई है. She tries to call out for her husband who is sleeping right next to her. वो नहीं सुन पा रहा है because उस नैन्सी के गले से आवाज नहीं आ रही है. वो जोर से चिल्ला रही है कि get up of me, don't sit on top of me, why are you here? But her husband does not even move because he can't hear her, right? So now that Nancy is unable to wake her husband up, वो ट्राई करती है कि उस woman को धक्का दे. She wants to get rid of the woman. But the woman now starts looking and staring into Nancy's eyes. Nancy looks back and sees or feels the pain in the woman's eye. It's almost like the woman needed help. So Nancy stops screaming as she starts to feel a weird kind of connection with her. Now the woman leans, grabs Nancy's neck, and says, "You were the only one who cared. And you know what? I trusted you. But even you threw me out of your life like nothing happened. And for that, you need to be punished." After saying that, the lady or the woman tries to strangle Nancy with her own two hands. And Nancy is now struggling. She's suffocating. She tries to move her arms, but it's almost like she's having a sleep paralysis that night. She's unable to wake her husband up, who's sleeping right next to her. And just like that, Nancy dies of suffocation. So then what happens is the husband wakes up in the middle of the night just to check up on his wife and to see if she's doing fine. He wakes up, sees something was off. Like Nancy was not moving much or nothing was happening. Something was off. He just knew it. So what he did was he tried to wake Nancy up. Now when he did that, he immediately realized that something was wrong and she's not responding. Then he checked her pulses and he saw that she's no more. Realizing this, he knew that he had to call the police. So the first thing he did was he called the police. The police came and saw that Nancy had marks around her neck, which was clear and which made it clear that she died of strangulation. Now they started the investigation, and you wouldn't believe who did that. There were marks all over her body, there were scars all over her body, and the objects that were used to torture her were all over the house. They searched for it, they did the investigation, and they found out that the one who killed Nancy was none other than her husband. She has always been tortured. She always knew that she was tortured by her husband, but she was forced into believing that it was all in her head. So yeah, guys, that was it. Quite weird story, right? I don't know if it was a good one or a bad one. Do let me know how you liked my story. And if you did, then do like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. I mean, I want to do a whole series of storytelling this whole week. So let me know if you want that or do you hate it, whatever. Okay. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked it. And if you did, then do like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye. See you in the next one.